大家好, I'm Nathan Rich, aka 火锅大王. Like it or not, there have always been traitors. Some people have betrayed their government to do what they thought best for their people. For example, Edward Snowden. He betrayed the American government to leak documents he felt benefited citizens. He didn't realize the media would just start accusing China and everyone else of doing the same things America had been doing, espionage. And just like that, all the citizens forgot about how much the American government spies on them and everyone else in the world. It was a beautiful cover-up. To this day, I get robotic American citizens accusing other countries of spying. Imagine the embarrassment I feel about my fellow countrymen. And some people have done the inverse, betrayed their own people to help a government, like Puyi, one-time emperor of China. He ruled over a puppet state run by fascist, expansionist, imperial Japan. Whether he truly had a choice or not is another question, but the fact is it was certainly treasonous. His story is fascinating, actually. But there's another kind of traitor that's worse in some ways, at least more repellent. Like Kurt Chu-in Lee. When the United States invaded Korea, China stepped in to push back on the extreme interventionism. And let's be honest, to support the communist movement taking place. The US continued its Asian invasion and used Kurt Chu-in Lee, a Chinese man, against his homeland. He was known for shouting out in Chinese. His brothers from China would be disoriented, sometimes even trying to rescue him, thinking he was injured. Then he and his fellow American soldiers would kill all the Chinese soldiers who tried to save him. Some people consider him to be one of the most vile traitors in history, and it's really hard to argue with that. There's another category of traitor worth mentioning, a more modern form of treacherous villain. Lee certainly was responsible for the deaths of his fellow countrymen, and he used a disgusting tactic to kill them. But imagine if there were Chinese people risking more lives than that. Many more lives. I'm talking, of course, about the new fascist clique led by Ho. I press on with history research. Yes, it really takes this long to get even a cursory knowledge of recent Chinese history. And in doing my research, my mind continues to expand. And today I want to tell you there's something people in the West don't understand about China. Well, there's a lot of things. But one thing in particular that's important as hell and relevant. Separatism in China, the rebellious desire to break away from authority, has killed hundreds of millions of Chinese. I'm not being exaggerative. The endless wars and struggles over the last thousands of years have dwarfed anything else when it comes to pain, suffering, death, and destruction. In terms of greatest positive effect for the most people in the world, fighting separatism in China is about as good as it gets, historically speaking. And conversely, promoting separatism in China could be viewed as worse than supporting, for example, Nazism. Much worse. I'll probably be doing a few videos about these ideas soon because there are a lot of interesting things to explore there. Nothing good comes from separatism in China, ever. Again, I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who has been digging through the history. And speaking of Nazis, the average alt-left person in America is trying desperately to extinguish neo-Nazis. But there's something far worse, which they could see if they would only break out of their Eurocentric bubble. Even just the widely documented deaths from Chinese separatism absolutely overshadow all of World War I and II combined. It's not even close. It seems so strange to me to see people who call themselves peace lovers supporting one of the literal worst things in history. It's with these indisputable facts in my pocket that I saw this today. There's a new class of traitor entering the conversation. U.S. Congress to advance Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Bill. If you've seen my videos before, you can guess the first thing I'm going to ask. Why is the U.S. dealing with anything related to Hong Kong? Hong Kong is part of China. Why would a country from another continent be passing laws about an Asian city? What the hell? What traitor could be instigating this anti-Chinese movement? Denise Ho is a former celebrity turned right-wing activist. After her music career fizzled out, she came out as a lesbian. And as far as I can tell, literally no one at all cared. Unwilling to let the spotlight go, she first started publicly breaking laws back in 2014. You know, it's very strange because I got into legal trouble when I was a young man. Then I outgrew it. My experiences in life caused me to break out of that trap. I don't commit violence. I don't encourage it. I don't support crime. I support stability and peace and progress. I'm an old man just trying to talk about things and see how we can all get along better. Yet this Ho character, also known as, and I'm not kidding here, Hawk has gone the other way. Hawk was a peaceful person, apparently, and slowly grew into supporting violence and crime. Being a protester against peace and unity is one thing, but recently she graduated from street-level crimes to treasonous international collaboration. Think I'm going too far? Am I just spouting inflammatory rhetoric? That's because you really haven't thought this through. More on that in a minute. Joshua Wong, another anti-unity activist from Hong Kong, has teamed up with Hawk Ho. And Wong Ho Hawk have teamed up with Nancy Pelosi, an American politician. I haven't heard why Pelosi suddenly betrayed her left-wing ideals and got on board with this bizarre fascist bill. Nor have I seen much protest from her constituents for some reason. But let's back up. What is so bad about this bill anyway? I mean, it's all about freedom, right? Well, I don't know. What is freedom? I believe in freedom of sovereignty. Countries have a right to their own governance and destiny. Do you believe in this or not? Do you believe that people in this world have freedom to their own cultures, their own governments, and their own experiences? Or do you think they're all just ignorant peasants waiting for you to show them the correct way to live? Are you saying you love other cultures while you push to extinguish them? Or do you actually love and respect them? Because honestly, I'm sick of hearing people pretend to stand up for other cultures while pushing for international colonialism. I believe that China deserves freedom of destiny and freedom of culture. I believe the Chinese people should be free to hold their borders as securely as they choose to. I believe the people in the government are aligned on the direction of the country. I believe that no other country should interfere in China's sovereignty. And I also believe that no amount of protests in any single city is enough to negate these beliefs. The overwhelming majority of Chinese people support the progress of their country and the direction they are headed in. Hong Kong rioters want to become a puppet state to the West. They want a revolution. But there is no revolution. There is no movement against the current trajectory. And that has nothing to do with Facebook being banned or whatever other stupid excuses I hear from people. It has to do with the 100% proven facts of how real revolutions work. Read a book, or better yet, just think about it yourself. Low quality of life and active oppression are the primers. Stagnation, economic depression, class division, disunity. Those are sources of revolutions. China is experiencing none of those things. The people are content, and when they look around, they see improvements in quality of life. They see so much positive change in such a short amount of time, it's actually shocking. Talk to one young city person in China. She's all over the internet. Fashion brands, metropolitan life, lattes and purses that cost too much. She's living in luxury. What about her parents? They were workers. They used their hands to raise food from the ground. They toiled and worked in an industrious world now evaporating like a puddle in a field. But their parents fought in wars, survived famines, political turmoil, and just about everything else you could possibly imagine. The last few hundred years have been harder on China than any other country, and that is a fact. And yet the last many decades have been a skyrocket to success in every way measurable. This is what whining fascists don't seem to give a damn about. They don't care that no one in China supports them. They don't care that no one wants to stop this rapid progress in pursuit of elusive Western ideals. The Chinese people don't want it. They want to have happy, healthy children. They want safety, peace, and stability. They want fulfillment and prosperity, and they are getting it. Yet Ho Hawk Wong ignore what the people of their country want. Instead, they encourage riots and go to other countries for support. No, not support. Support suggests that the other country would help them to do something. That's not what they're asking for. They're asking for this other country, the United States, to do everything for them. And what is it that they want America to do exactly? Break China into pieces. They want Hong Kong to be a puppet state to the US. They've been so culturally dominated by the West that they now believe they have no identity but as a Westerner. And that's the most tragic part to me. They had the most interesting culture in the world, Chinese, and they're trying to just throw that away. The bill they're pushing for is called the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act of 2019. Doesn't that sound peaceful and lovely? I'm going to go through this bill in an upcoming video, and you're going to see how fascism works. Fancy, nice labels on everything, but the meat of the legal push is against those other nations of people deemed subhuman. China doesn't deserve its own destiny, is what the bill says. Only America deserves a future free of meddling. That is what Ho Hawk Wong want. They want to be known as saviors of democracy. And in order to get that spotlight, they're willing to risk millions of lives, global stability and peace, all to crush the people's will and allow Western powers to take what they want from China. They are traitors of the highest degree. And I can't believe any American Democrat will get behind their disgusting fascism. Pelosi, you want to try to allow America to arbitrarily exert power over China's city? You are making me very, very nervous for the future. Like I said, in a future video, I'm going to go over the bill itself, but it is really disturbing. I think this bill will be the worst thing for Sino-American relations in my entire lifetime. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.